5 degrees. Okay, it will also come up with messages if you get to an overheat point. Really, there's nothing else on there that you need to look at. If you want to see your hour reading, you can push this button, 17.7 hours on the machine. That shows you your fuel, so that would say 10 litres per hour is your fuel consumption, and then your actual time. Night and day, so you can make it bright or dark depending on what your preference is. This one here is the engine, is the machine information. So this top one here is your rotation. So you've got rotation pressure, and then you've got RPM in there. And when you're rotating the pressure, that goes green, that little round symbol. This one here is drilling fluid. So the outside one is PSI, pressure. So it'll go up to sort of 1500 PSI max. GPM is your fluid. How many gallons per minute? Are you gallons or litres? What do you prefer talking in? Litres? So I'll just quickly change that one. So now we're in litres per minute. Okay. This top bar across here is your thrust or pullback pressure. Okay. So it's going to give you a reading in PSI, and then this is like a bar graph that's going to go up. Okay. Through that bit there. These next set of lights through here are sensors that are on the machine. Okay. So this one here is the rear home switch. So that tells you the carriage is all the way at the back. Okay. And one reason you'd look at that is because when that light comes on and you're in automation, you can push resume and it's going to feed you a rod or put a rod away. You don't have to look up there. Okay, you can get used to looking here. The one next to it that's greyed out at the moment is your pipe lifters, up and down. So those are those things that are replaced. If they're not all the way up, i.e. the light is on, the pipe box won't move in and out. Okay, so that one. These two here are your indicators to tell you you've run out of rods. Okay, which we don't want those to go off. But when you're drilling out, you would keep an eye on those to know when your rack's empty. When you're pulling back, you're looking at the yellow indicators up here. No, but I'll show you that as we go up. Hopefully you'll remember. This one here is the shuttle. So the shuttles are the two half round things that feed your rods. So if they're not back in the position that they're in now, the carriage won't come forward. Okay, so where they are now, we call that fully retracted, and the light's on. When they come out to load a rod, that's extended. So retracted, extended. This next one with the lightning bolt is the self-test for the strike system. So it's saying the ESID is okay. If we didn't have that voltage limiter in the ground, that would be red, for example. The next one's seat switch. So take it off the seat, there's a bit of timer. Okay, you have to be sitting on the seat to be able to use the draw function. Sorry. The F is your front wrench. So when your front wrench is closed, that light will come on. So a couple of things. One, it will stop the fluid, so it turns the drill fluid off. Two, it engages what we call assisted makeup. So when that's on and you're at the front or the back of the drill frame, when you rotate, if you rotate clockwise, it'll go forward automatically. Counterclockwise, it comes back. Okay, so the machine takes over the speed of making it onto the rod. You control the rotation. So a little bit of rotation, it will go forward slowly. Lots, it will go forward fast. And you'll see that. But that only works when that light's on. Okay. If that light's on and you go to rotate and nothing happens, there could be something wrong with that circuit. So if you ever ring us and say my rotational thrust won't work, hopefully we'll say to you, is the front wrench open or closed? Because it kind of helps diagnose straight away what a problem might be. And that is one thing, the sensor for it, is one thing that can need calibration and adjustment. This is JT, so it's telling you it's in JT mode, so that's that switch inside here. I said it's not touch. Yeah, so that should stay like that. I think that one comes on for automation as well. We'll find out. I think it's the same JT mode. And then the very end one there is carve mode. It's showing you carve mode when it's activated. Okay, which we'll see when we drill.
Is that like a rock mode, carve mode?
Yeah, it's a little bit funny on this machine. It's not as good as the latest machines. Down the bottom here, you'd come up with error messages. Like right now, I've just put it into automation, and it obviously won't do anything because it can't see the full throttle. So it'll tell you information messages. There's your carve mode will come up there. Your fault codes would come up there as well, and that sequence there. If it was a diagnostic code, it would be like a big one like the saw most first turned on. Day night still on this one. This one's going to get into your fault codes if you had them. This one is just going to do your user settings and things. I don't really think there's anything for you to get into that one for. This one is your strike system. So if you wanted to test it, you've got your light up, your tick up there, sorry, saying that everything's okay. There are some diagnostic functions in there, but I don't think they're worth worrying about. And then this N1 here is a diagnostic code one as well, which shouldn't be used for anything.
Yep.
So you got that. This here is the self-test for the ESID. So if I pushed and held that down, I know the alarm's going off and the orange light should have flashed. Yep. Okay. So if you hear that noise, that's a strike.
Yep.
Okay. That's when you want to watch what you're up to. Joystick. So thrust, pull back, counterclockwise. Okay. So if you're drilling, for example, if you sort of pushed up to that 10 o'clock position, when you're back reaming, you're back this way. 7, 8 o'clock position. Bottom button is dual fluid on and on, so that's just a push once for on, once for off. When it is on, you've got your dial here, so you're adjusting your flow with the dial. This should take about 3 clicks from the bottom before it starts. So when it's all the way back here, even with this button on, it probably won't work. Get to about 3 clicks and it will kick in. The light here will go green, and then you'll see some fluid flow up on the meter here. The top one is purge, so that's when it says momentary with the mud pump. So if I push that button, you get 100% flow out of the mud pump. So we call it purge or quick fill, so you can use it to quickly fill your rods. Sometimes when you're drilling, you use that to sort of help cut as well. If you're in some hard conditions, you can kind of pump it, really help jet your way into a direction. And the left-hand one is 2-speed. It's the other way around. This is your purge. This is your 2-speed.
2-speed.
2-speed carriage. Bring it back faster. Carriage going forward and back. Sorry, the front one is the 2-speed. The left-hand one is the purge. Sorry. They'll catch you out, eh? Over here, drilling fluid, high flow, low flow. Okay. Theory being, when you're drilling out, you want low flow but higher pressure. So you'd be in this position. When you're reaming, you want higher flow, lower pressure to really get a bit of a slurry. So that's what that's for. This is your carve one. We'll come back to that. This is your lights. So your lights are wired into some of the extra spotties that we put on it, and then you've got this one here too for the cab spotty up here, and then this is your flashing lights up there as well. Throttle up and down here. If you leave it like this, it'll rev all the way up. If you don't touch this joystick for about 3-ish seconds, it'll come back to an idle by itself. Or if you wanted to stay at full throttle, you would just leave it in that position. So you'd go all the way up, get it to full throttle, and then do that. I don't know why you need to. I would just leave it like that, that's fine. And then idle it back down. This one here moves the rod box in and out. Okay, so if you remember, your pipe lifter's got to be all the way up. The light's got to be on here. And then you can use this one to move your pipe box, and you're just lining up. See behind your shoulder, you've got the little drop towards the back, and then there's a sticker there. That's JT and AT. Yep, so JT, the top one. That means that you're in the correct position. Go up and down. This is automation. So on this machine, I would suggest that you use automation. It's a bit of a pig to drive if you try and do everything manually. If you use this, it means that all of these switches here become null and void. So basically pushing, if you're drilling out, you would have the arrow in. It means that all you're doing is pushing resume, and it's going to do the next sequence of events for you. Okay, so I would definitely suggest that you use that.
So that will, once you have one rod there, it will take up the rod and go back and get another one.
You still have to control the screwing of the rod, but what you do is, if we were drilling out, right, so we would drill that rod in automation, we would clamp it, we would undo off the rod, we would pull back until the edge of the rod's between those two little cutouts there, we would push resume, it's going to grip the rod, we would unscrew off the very back of it, pull all the way back until we're at the back of the machine, push resume, it's going to put the rod away and deal with it, we're going to come forward and screw onto the rod, so that's back ream. Okay, so it's going to do the loading functions for you. You've sort of So it's basically your pipe lifter, your pipe shuttle, your pipe gripper, and your greaser actually, which does the greasing for you as well. So all of these 4 switches here it takes care of. You've still got to control your front wrenches.
Yeah, taking them on now. But open them and crack them.
Yep. So yeah, so that's automation. So add pipe is when you're drilling out, remove pipes when you're coming back.
Yep.
To use that switch, it's always best to do it when the drill frame is in the middle of the carriage. The front wrench would be open, your carriage is about in the middle. Is that what you call it, a carriage?
Yeah.
Kelly,
Yeah.
Monkey, carriage, yeah. Carriage in the middle, and the reason we say that is because when it's in the middle, it's not activating any sensors anywhere, so it's like in a neutral state. If you don't do it at that particular time, it can sometimes be a bit hit and miss whether it actually works or not. Okay, it's automation. It's a logical function. So A has to work before B, before C, before D. If it sees you going straight to C, it's going to say, "Well, no, it might happen." So that's why we say in the middle of the drill frame is the best bet for that. Grip of fingers. So on the end of your shuttles, you've got fingers that hold your rods. Okay, that's what this one here would be for. That gets taken care of in automation automatically. Greaser. So you're going to push the button. It's going to squirt grease. That gets taken care of automatically in automation. And it's only a front greaser, it doesn't have one at the back. Shuttles, which is shuttles extending and retracting. It's this one that gets taken care of in automation. Pipe lifters up and down, same thing, that gets taken care of in automation. Set resume, so that's like your car with cruise control. So you can set your drilling functions, hold your joystick where you want it, push and hold set and let go, and it's going to carry on going for you. And then you'd use resume or set, speed up or slow down the thrust or pullback. Typically it's when you're pulling back, right, not when you're throwing out. If you wanted to adjust your rotation, you would just touch that a little bit to rotation, and this is going to speed up or slow down rotation. And I'll show you this because it's probably wild. And then these 3 here are your front wrenches. So this one's your buried front wrench, okay, which is what you use. You just use that one when you're drilling out. This one here is the rear wrench, rotating we call it. You'd be using both of those when you're pulling back. And then this one here rotates that rotating wrench, that one there. So when you're pulling back, you're basically going to put them both this way. It's going to grip them. We're going to push that to rotate it. We're going to open it. We're going to come back with it, and then we're going to unscrew off it. The first little bit, it'll seem really weird, like it feels like lots of buttons, but once you get used to it, like I wouldn't even look at that now when I do it. But that's those 3. These here, this, and this, that's all to do with the all-terrain functions, our rock drilling, so you won't use any of those for anything. Okay. They won't work, they won't do anything. If anything, it will bring up an error message.
Okay.
Yeah, so don't worry
So
about
they
it.
don't work.
They won't do anything. No, that's for our dual rod system. Air conditioning stuff's up here. This is just the blower at the feet there.
Cool.
Yep. You pretty much wanted other stuff. Emergency stop. Emergency stop.